Well, thank you guys for joining this. I appreciate it. Everybody is super ecstatic to talk about imaging. So thank you guys for bearing with me through this. So imaging. So it's broken down into several modalities here at FMCs. So we have the radiology assistants, GXMO, which is kind of it's not a full-fledged radiographer, but it's a step down from it. We've got the radiographer, which is an X-ray tech. We've got the CT techs, MRI techs, nuke med techs, ultrasound techs, and then the mammographers over at RVC. So we'll get started right in with the radiology assistant GXMO. So like I said, this one's a step-down radiographer. Ideally, we would like somebody who's already enrolled into an X-ray program. So most of the programs now are 2-year programs. There are the 4 years, but most go through the 2-year, through an AMA-approved school. In the second year of the program, most schoolings will allow you to test for your GXMO. Most program directors, if you coordinate with them, they can get the education requirements submitted to the state. Here are a few of the schools. The ODH website has a giant list of which schools you can go to. Some of them online programs, some of them you actually have to go to campus for. Columbus State's a big one. AM Care, Health Education Consultants, Northeast Ohio. We had a STAR program is what we used within FMC in the past as well. So there's several different options there. As long as it's accredited through ODH, then we should be good there. And the GXMO credential isn't just one test like it is for a radiographer or CT or MRI. This one is a test over each area of the body. So you'll do a skull one, a thorax one, an extremity one, and then basically whatever you're passed on is what you can perform X-ray wise. And there are certain limitations to this too. So like anything with continuous fluoroscopy. So like C-arms, if you want to do any of the fluoro studies like barium swallows, barium minimas, lumbar punctures, those you're not allowed to do. Not qualified for, you do have to be a radiographer for that. So there are certain limitations that separates a GXMO from a rad tech. Next on the agenda, radiographers, X-ray techs. So these are for individuals who have completed that 2-year school at a minimum. They've taken the test through whatever state they're in this case would be Ohio. You can register through the ARRT, which is the credentialing body for radiography. And then some of the schools that we have, COTC, Columbus State, Rio Grande, we actually see a lot of the COTC students here. They come through, they'll do their phase 1, and phase 2 rotations through us. And then we have preceptors on site that they go along with. The radiographers, like I said, so the surgery, so they have the C-arm cases. So this is where they go in whenever there's imaging needed during a case, whether it be for an ORAF implant, whether it be for port access. Some of the vascular cases utilize it. So it's just live radiation in the OR so the surgeon sees what they're doing. That's what it's for. Oh, C-arm. So I don't really know what the C stands for other than the fact that the piece of equipment is in the shape of a giant C. So it's like a portable X-ray machine, but it's a portable fluoro machine. You take it into the operating room, and then the surgeon lets you know where to set it up depending on what case we're doing. So if we're doing an ankle ORIF, we'd set it up towards the lower end of the body at the ankle so they can see what they're doing. The other thing is fluoro. So this is where they're in one of our 3 rooms we have down in the department there. And we'll have inpatients, whatnot, come in. We'll do the barium swallows down there, the barium minimas, lumbar punctures, myelograms, upper GI studies, small bowel studies, that sort of a thing. So we'll do all that downstairs. And with this too, so the hospital, we have to be 24/7 staffed. So this is one of the few positions in the facility that we will have somebody in at all times, no matter the hour. CT. So this one, most techs will start out as a radiographer. And then from there, this will be an additional education on top of it. The way the ARRT has this is they broke down any post-primary registry, which is anything after your radiographer license, that you have to do 16 CEUs through 3 different areas or 3 different sections. So the 16 CEUs, you have to have at least 1 CEU in each section, and then that's combined with a list of exams that you have to complete. There's a list, I forget how many are on there, I think there's 50 or 60, but you have to complete at least 125 in total, a maximum of 5 under each category, or 3 is a minimum in order for it to count towards that total of 125. And then all those are verified online. You submit it through ART, and then once they have those completed exams as well as the CEUs, then they send you a notification back and let you know you're eligible to go ahead and test for that. CT, MRI, mammo, those are the 3 that are all post-primary. There's also DEXA, but I haven't met a single person that's ever had a DEXA registry because it's not really something that's in high demand anywhere or necessarily that you need, but that is another one that's in there. And this one's also, the most recent data I had that was given to me is we're anticipating a growth of about 70% over the next 5 years in CT. So we've already experienced a significant growth in general with CT, so it's kind of an overwhelming thought to know that we're going to have that big of a growth anticipated by 2027. MRI, so magnetic resonance imaging. So MRI, same thing. Most people will go through the X-ray school first and then pursue this post-primary. You do not have to go through X-ray school first, though. They recently changed this to where you can actually go and attend a 2-year program specific to MR. I only know of one tech that's ever done this. Any other tech I've ever met, they've always had the RTR and then the MR assigned to their name after. Same system as the CT, so the 16 CEUs with the exams you have to complete. With this too, so the current information that's out there is until January 31st of 2025. So beginning February 1st, they actually changed a little bit of the curriculum that you've got to complete for your 16 CEUs. Not by much. They just actually took off a few of the things that are options you could take education on. But for the most part, it's still the same. You still have the 16 CEUs, so 125 scans there. And then moving along here, so nuclear medicine. So nuke med techs are interesting. So of all the modalities that imaging has, this is the only type of imaging on a molecular level. They have a 2-year or a 4-year program. It's kind of in the middle with what techs typically go through nowadays. They also go through the NMTCB, the Nuclear Medicine Technology Certification Board, is primarily where they're registered through versus the ART. Once you're registered through the NMTCB, a lot of techs just kind of drop the radiographer license and just focus primarily on nuke med at that point. Some of the schools, so University of Findlay, Cincinnati, and Cuyahoga Community College, they've closed down a few of the schools close to us. OSU, I believe, has a program, but it's specific to employees at OSU. So it's not open to just anybody to be able to apply for. So as you can see, if that's an interest, it's a bit of a drive from here. Ultrasound. So ultrasound, same thing as the rest of them, 2 or 4 year program. The difference between the 2 and 4 year program is with a 4 year program, you learn everything with the general ultrasound and the vascular ultrasound. Most techs choose to focus on one area, which is either vascular or general being the predominant ones. There's also cardiac, but I don't really know much about the cardiac side, so we'll focus on vascular and general. Within the imaging department, we only perform the general ultrasounds. Vascular ultrasounds will fall under vascular lab. So most of the techs have a 2-year degree through either COTC or ryogram. We actually have a student typically rotate through. I think we see probably about 2 students a year, 2 or 3. And the other unique one with this is the ARRT. So ART has a sonography license that you can test for and get, which is just RTRS is a credential for that. I've never met anybody with it, but it technically qualifies somebody to be an ultrasound tech. Most ultrasound techs go through the ARDMS, and that's where they'll get their registries for that. ARDMS is more, I guess you could say, coned down on education. So whereas the S through ART is a generalized test over all of imaging for ultrasound, ARDMS breaks it down to, whether it be the OB type scans, whether it be a pediatric scan, and they continue breaking them down that way so you can actually get registered in different elements on top of the physics or the physics test. So every ultrasound tech has to pass a physics test, and then they pass one of the other general components for that. And then mammography, last one here. So same thing, go through X-ray school first. Post-primary pursuance is on the job. Their standards are a little bit different from everybody else. Mammo in general is big on quality, so there's going to be a lot to do with quality assurance with Mammo. MQSA, which is a Mammography Quality Standard Act, is probably the biggest name with Mammo. You have to submit 25 exams specific to the MQSA. Once you do that, then you have to perform 75 patients for the ART side, so 100 patients total. You have to be involved with the daily QCs. You have to sit with a physician, an MQSA certified physician, which is most of our radiologists that read the mammos, through 10 different cases, with them basically going over what those cases are and elaborating some of the treatment plans available, or whether or not it's nothing at all, something benign. And then after that, you've got to sit in on 4 procedures, with some examples: needle lokes, breast MRIs, breast ultrasounds, stereotactics, stuff of that nature. And then once you do all that, that's just the one half of it. The other half is a 16 CEUs over the 3 different areas, and then 1 CEU at least in each area. So you could do 1 CEU under one category, 1 under the next, and 14 under the rest. That's how they break it down.
Have we allowed or have been able to do that? Because we've trained them here, right?
Yeah, so since I've been here, only 1. But
there's an opportunity.
There is, yeah. If a position comes available, basically if we have an X-ray tech interested in going to Mammo, that we go ahead and train them up over there. We kind of prefer it that way too, because then they're aware of our processes, but experience from the outside is great too. Up next is going to be Maggie Asbell, and I will let her talk from here.
Okay. Gotta pull up my thing. So, hi everybody, I'm Maggie. I am currently working here as a full-time registered radiographer. I graduated from COTC's program, as he previously mentioned in here. And I've been working here since last May. I graduated, so I've been a year out into the field. Made it through my 5-semester, 2-year program. Didn't start out that way. My college journey, I was 2 years in before I decided that I wanted to do something different. And to be honest, it was a random Google search that led me here. Greatest thing though that I ever discovered, I'm very happy in my job. Really enjoy working with patients every day. Getting to talk with them, help them. That's something I knew that I really wanted to do for sure in my career. In my opinion, nurses, they do great, but sometimes nursing isn't for everybody. And to me, I wanted to do something in healthcare where I could still help people, but maybe it wasn't as much schooling or, as much involved as nursing can be. So to me, this is something that's a little bit lighter, but it's still where you get the opportunity to work with patients and help them out every day. And as he mentioned, I love that you have the option to change what you're doing. Like you can move to CT, you can go to MRI, so you don't have to do the same thing every day. Even being in general X-ray, I still feel like I'm doing something different every minute. We're involved in surgery, we're involved in the ER, we do fluoro cases, so there's something different every day, which is keeping you on your toes and definitely gives you a good experience and lets you make a difference in people's lives. And so I couldn't be happier that I landed here, and I work at a great place and really enjoy what I do. So hopefully maybe you guys can discover it too. So that is it. So thank you. Feel free to ask me questions too. I'm definitely open to answering anything that you guys have about programs or anything like that. Yeah?
So did you go to school for the GXMO first, and then you went to a separate grad tech program? Or
So I was actually enrolled in the COTC program before I attempted to do the GXMO. So I had started in that, and as he had mentioned, I didn't start applying for GXMO until I was into the 2nd year. So it would have been the 4th semester. And so I still had to take the test. However, since I was in the affiliated program already, I did not have to do all of the imaging that he had mentioned, where you had to get so many hours in each extremity, all that stuff. I was exempt from that because I was already in the affiliated program. But I did still have to take the test, but it was, I think, maybe only 100 questions, so it wasn't too bad. But it helps kind of if you have a little bit of background, I think, already being in the program. It helps when taking the test for sure. So
Do you have any desire to do any other areas?
So I haven't really thought about that yet. I'm kind of still like just kind of enjoying my time out of school, to be honest, since I'm a year out. I honestly, right now, I'm happy where I'm at. I could see myself maybe moving to like CT or something like that in the future, but right now, honestly, I really enjoy general. Like I said, I see something different every day, keeps me on my toes. So right now, yeah, I'm really happy where I'm at. But yeah.
I'm Kellie Sharp, and I am the Workforce Development Specialist at Fairfield Medical Center. The next thing I want to talk about, though, is how we can financially support you if you decide that you would like to go on your career journey and what that can do for you, whether it's imaging or it's something else entirely different. But what we offer to start out with would be a tuition assistance, and that is for part-time or full-time employees. You do need to be employed with us a minimum of 6 months before you can utilize it, and it does have a 1-year commitment when you do use it. When you are part-time, it's $2,500 reimbursement every year, and then when you're full-time, it's $5,250 every year, and that renews once a calendar year in January. And then the next thing we have that's very specific to a few different areas, one of them being imaging, is well, actually, let me back up. This is not specific to anything. It's one of the scholarships that we have. We have 2 different types in the organization. This one is the Foundation Scholarship. And again, this is for part-time and full-time employees, and the amount's going to vary. You may have seen where that application was running this past summer, and the deadline just finished up for that for submission. But the employee does need to be employed with us a minimum of 1 year, utilizing the tuition assistance if it's applicable to you, and it is a 1-year commitment, and it's that you apply for that every summer. And when you apply for it in the summer, then they start their interview process towards the end of the summer, and then they go through that process in figuring out if you're going to be awarded and how much. And that amount may differ every year from the previous year if you were awarded that. The additional scholarship is the one I was originally referring to, and that is what we call the Hard to Recruit Scholarship. So that's specific to certain positions. So that is going to be imaging. It's also going to be respiratory therapists, MLT and MLS, which that's at our lab, and then registered dietitians, and surgery, so scrub techs. That is going to be, if you're getting an associate's degree, you're going to receive a $10,000 scholarship, and if it's a bachelor's degree, it's a $15,000 scholarship, and it's a 2-year commitment. The way this one differs a little bit is you really don't even have to be employed with us to get this scholarship. So we would love the opportunity to partner with you to see if maybe we have employment that would benefit you and us here as a team together, but you don't have to. So if you're getting ready to start a program or you know somebody in one of these areas, just reach out to me and I can submit send on that application process and talk to that person, and we can figure out how to move forward and find out if that's a good fit for them. But this is definitely a good way to go. And if you think about it, so from a perspective for if you are employed, you can use tuition assistance, you can use Foundation Scholarship, and you can use the Hard to Recruit Scholarship. So by the time it's said and done, you've received a lot of financial assistance to help you achieve your goals. So for about career awareness and exploration, you can go to our website and you can just kind of look at posted positions if you're interested, and you can see what's posted, maybe what's out there, if you would like, just to kind of gauge what that even looks like. You can also job shadow in these areas. Say maybe you've never thought of imaging before, or maybe you come to another one of these that we're having and you want to see what it even is like in those areas. We encourage job shadowing, so you could reach out to me and we can set that up, and I can work with that leadership team to do that. And then you can also email me, call me, and we can just sit down and have a conversation about maybe what your goals are and what you're thinking, and we can help work together to achieve what that is and help get you there.